example of rev share plays. 50-50, 40-60. What should I be looking for and what should I accept? I guess this is more for the publishers, so Zen.
I actually have something to add.
Oh, okay.
I know some film publishers, and they're using this kind of deal. They say, if we get you feature, we'll take 10%. If we get you X amount of downloads, we'll take 20%, up to like 50, and then that's so they take percent up to like 50 based on milestones. That's a new business I actually heard about last week.
Nice, awesome. Nick, care to answer that?
Sure. I say it's all over the place.
What is the range for you guys?
It depends on the game. It depends on the territories. It depends on a million things. I'm happy to discuss on a one-on-one basis. But I would just say, talk to many publishers. Look for someone that will offer something that's equitable with what the terms are out there.
Okay. Cool. All right, I'm getting no questions, guys. Does anyone want to yell out questions then? I'm sure there's got to be more questions in the audience. Okay, think about them.
We have an opinion on the previous one.
Okay.
It's not about the percentage. It depends on the publisher. Like, what is the value that they bring to the company?
Okay. How would you assess that? I know how he sort of assesses that, but for you, like if one of your companies said that, hey, I'm taking a publisher
They might choose the wrong publisher, and it might be a good deal, but they don't get traffic.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean? Like, it's better to, it's like in startups, entrepreneurs fight on equity, but in zero, you know?
Mel, do you have an opinion?
Well, yeah, I mean, the first thing you guys all probably know is that first parties take 30% of your sales just right off the top, right? Does everybody here realize that? Is that a common fact now? So if you publish the game yourself to the App Store and you use a $1 app, they take 30 cents of that, so you're left with 70. So after that, that's what you and the publisher are arguing over. And more times than not, they're going to try to, I don't know, I mean, like I said, I haven't looked at a publishing agreement in a long time, but your margins are just going to get marginalized, just boom, 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 boom. Pretty soon there's no money left for you, so you're going to have to move high volume of apps in order to make any kind of money. So, I mean, you got to think about that. That's why the free-to-play thing is so important. The monetization loop, we share a good business model, thinking that from the very beginning.
All right, we're in the last 15-minute stretch. There we go. Yell it out.
This one's for Mel. I know Zen has had like kind of phenomenal success on the, on the consoles like PSN and Xbox Live. But I was wondering if you maybe knew if typically those were good markets for kind of like an indie company to try their hand at, or if they should just stick to PC and mobile.
Yeah.
You can repeat the question.
Okay, so the question was, are Xbox, Live Arcade, and PlayStation Network good marketplaces for indies? Right now, I would say no. Not if this is your first hand at things, because there's the console transition is happening as we speak. And it is very scary right now, everything that's happening. But Sony has completely changed policy on so many levels that it is much easier. They're kind of leaders of this indie publishing movement on console. So Sony is definitely the easiest to work with, and if you really wanted to, I would say Sony would be the most open to reviewing your game and looking at things. They've got PubFund, which actually helps you fund your game. They've got all sorts of avenues to get your game to market. But there's zero install base right now for PS4 and Xbox One. That's a little scary if you're trying to get there. Games releasing now on PS3 and Vita and whatever, or Xbox 360. You don't know if people are waiting, if they're going to buy stuff. So there's just all this mess going on right now. I'd say PC and mobile should be your focus. Lowest barrier to entry. There's not a lot of paperwork and headache to get through. If you get your publishing agreement sorted out, then you've got your path to market there. And it sounds like, these guys are focused heavily in the mobile space, so it's easy to get a game there. But console, if this is your first go at it, man, that's a scary place to be right now.
So let's talk about marketing mobile games. What kind of help is available for indies to market their games, and what about marketing guarantees? Do any of the publishers here give that? Do the non-publishers, have you seen any marketing guarantees in the deals that have come across you?
So I say that marketing guarantees are hard to come by these days. A lot less publishers offer either advances or marketing guarantees. So from where I stand,
What is that, man? You don't believe in my game?
it's not a matter of believing or not believing. It's just it's difficult to know from day one what your game is going to do, right? So I would say just Yes, those are important. Those are part of the material terms of any contract, so you gotta pay attention to those. But again, look at the big picture and look at everything else that the publisher can do for you, everything else that a publisher can offer. What can they do?
Do you tier it out then? So if I perform, you know, this type of retention in 7 days versus day 30, this is what I'll see, or it's you, as you go along, you decide what it is?
We typically don't. We look at the performance of the game after 3 weeks from the release, but we don't tier it out like that. I know there are other publishers that may do that.
Do you at least share what it is so that developers know what they're working for? What they're working towards, what performance they need to be hitting before the game gets launched? Or?
I can't tell you. Again, we don't do that at Game Inside. There may be other publishers that do it.
Okay, that's right.
I can't really speak to that, unfortunately.
Yuri, have you seen, what types of deals have you seen on the marketing end from publishers and anything that's come across your desk?
As I said, we didn't invest in gaming companies yet, so we are new to the market, so I can't...
No?
So it's an interesting question because the things that sell games on mobile is very much network based. Like you want to be in that group of games that can be cross-promoted and whatnot. I mean, that's how 99% of games, unless you're a big developer, publisher, and you already got a brand established, and that's what's going to do it for you in that storefront market. PR doesn't sell mobile games unless, again, you got a huge brand like your Angry Birds or something. It's increasingly difficult, and so the value that the publisher is going to bring, like you want to make sure that there's specific marketing components in there, user acquisition, those things. I mean, it's got to be specific because that's really what you're giving. I mean, that's why you're signing a deal because, man, you need visibility. And so, I don't know. I mean, just make sure that's so specific and make sure that, again, have your lawyer look at it because more times than not, there's going to be 10 different ways that someone can interpret this little clause that guarantees that marketing stuff. And say you release your game after a week, it's not hitting a certain number, and then they pull that marketing support. It's DOA, man, and you're gone. So.
Yeah. So to your point, I say look to work for with a publisher, if you will, that has a track record of publishing successful apps on the game genre that you're working on. So if you're working on a hidden object game, just look for a company that has a track record of successful hidden object games because they're going to have the audience and because they can cross-promote your game with their existing audience. So to your point, what you're saying. The guarantees here and there, like I said, there's just many ways to structure it. Could
And
be
there are ways,
useful.
as I'm sure the lawyers will tell us, to get out of the guarantees once they're given, right?
We'll give them a chance to speak to that later.
Okay, Luis? What was that?
Depends what side we're on.
Depends what side you're on. When you're up here, you'll be on the side of developers, right? Okay. All right, Luis?
So like marketing guarantees, from my experience, it's just very little guarantees. Like in my case, it was we have X amount of people in our network. We can cross promote, and they have their big four numbers, and then that's how you sign on a name, on a brand of the publisher. But you also need to develop your own independent channels, like no self-pub. So it's like independent in the channel. There's a lot of huge Facebook groups that help you develop in your network. But yeah, and even if your game is perfectly done, there is a little bit of luck that, you know, like all the runners, whatever, all the like Angry Birds, like a little bit of luck. So that's why guarantee cannot be done. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I think also like